Hello and welcome back to the season finale, two-part episode of Archer, Season 6, 12 and 13, Drastic Voyage, Part 1 and 2, written by Adam Reed and Casey Willis. I had a lot of fun with this two-parter. I thought some of the jokes were some of the funniest that the season has to offer. And I like that it ended in not quite the same manner as previous seasons have ended, with Archer seemingly taking a more authoritative role with what happens with our group. So it was certainly a shift to a maturity that lines up with all of the actions that the past 6 seasons have been exploring with his character. Despite also failing the mission, because despite their best efforts, it was a failure. Holly sets up the team on this top secret miniaturation. I can't say that word at all right now because my allergies will not allow me. I also apologize for the fan, but if I turn it off, I don't think I will hold as a solid. He comes in and points out that the stowaways, they're going to be allowed on this mission since they have a tendency to always involve themselves. So this way they can actually contain their chaotic manner despite all being unqualified field agents. I do think it's pretty funny that they always end up in the field. Poor Ray gets the embarrassment of having everyone thinks it's because he has Conway Stern's black hand instead of having a robotic hand. And that actually makes more sense because they did take off his second robotic hand. I kind of forgot about that and thought that for some reason they had his original hand on ice. So clearly I was mistaken. Had a brain fart when it came to the events that led up to him having the bionic arm. And so he cries and everyone else makes fun of his sorrow, particularly Cheryl, who brings up the fact that she had a sexual choking experience with Conway and says to call her. Pam always there to co-sign for her BFF, calling him Handingo.
Why are you mad?
Though let's hand it to Holly for Gluey Dreyfus. Kovacs, this doctor with a first name I don't even want to try to pronounce, developed he developed how to make people from big to small, because I really hate saying that word. It doesn't naturally roll off my tongue. They do some Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. An idea Krieger believed they stole from him, aptly named, what was it? Finky Dinks? Something to that effect. But it's shut down by Holly as these projects being nothing alike. The team is going to be shrunk and injected into Dr. Kovacs, like that Rick and Morty episode also, to operate on the blood clot, not like that Rick and Morty episode, in his brain after a fatal crash where Russians, they believe, tried to kidnap or kill him. The carrot, $1 million each. Daddy likey. The stick?
You're gone. Fired. Out of here. Ain't nothing I can do for you.
Daddy not likey. I love those little bits of dialogue in the background. Holly will ensure they never work in espionage again if they should fail in this mission or choose not to engage. Pam said for once this will be turned around and I'll prefer the carrot. Lana said carrot and stick, Pam, not dick. I know. Sarah wants to know why regular brain surgery isn't an option when they're being being updated on the mission dossier and gets absolutely no response, while Archer antagonizes Slater. You know what I don't have time for? Shopping for clothes?
These nuts. Got him! Got him!
Cyril's relevant question definitely was ignored because I think they wanted to try this type of surgery out to prove a point, to prove that this scientist was correct, and they did it in the most risky fashion under the circumstances that would permit it versus what would easily have been normal surgery. He continues to know, you know what this is, by showing Archer his guns, at least what he thought was his guns. He was like, your best gal? To be fair, that Dr. Gay was supposed to help kids figure out the human body that he was playing. I forgot what it's called now. So at least for once, Archer was trying to prepare himself in a manner to not fail instead of being the complete class clown that he always goes on to prove that he is by continuing on with many more interruptions. He also promises to make up for all the misbullying suspected of Cyril being jealous of, because he wants to know why he keeps antagonizing Slater. I wonder if it's because Slater saw Lana's vagina, and ever since then it feels like they fell out, or after he realized he got played, because I did feel like there was a moment that they were friends or at least vibed with each other, but I could also be misremembering that. Dr. Kovacs' lab assistant is also his lover. The actors and actresses that played the guest starring roles, of course, Christian Slater as Slater, Gary Cole as Special Agent Hawley, Carrie Brownstein as Dr. Skoldowski. Yeah, I just called her Dr. Sexy Times. And Michael Gray as TV's Michael Gray. She explains, if people find that shocking, that's on them, but no one finds it shocking. And the details that lead to, we only have 1 hour to get this shit done before being gate crashed by her ex-lover, which is TV personality Michael Gray.
Who the fuck are you, man?
I googled him and he still wasn't familiar, so that's like a deep cut. Ray is very shocked about his hand and continues to point out that he hasn't gotten over this emotion, but Cheryl dismisses it as gross. Just as gross as this woman's old man fetish. She said that one doesn't even have skin. She is so idiotic. Krieger is regulated to what he thinks is someone's death instead of monitoring the patient they are trying to save. Why was he just smacking him in the head like that? He's talked down to and eventually kicked out of the room. Lana talks with Archer about 2 life-altering outcomes of this mission. The first being that his entire identity could be gone with them being blacklisted, which could lead to some mentally traumatic emotions, but he shrugs it off per usual, saying that it will give him more me time and a chance to learn how to fly fish. So he pivots towards the fact that she pivots towards the fact that AJ will be raised by her parents if they die, as clearly Mallory and Ron are unfit grandparents with that flashback with the smoking near the baby, talking about his hot little secretary that he wants to bang. Yeah, the obvious reasons. Despite Lana's rational fears, the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids is successful and they are transported via saline solution, with Archer still not understanding, despite actual experience, why you aren't weightless in a submarine. They need to be as close to the injection site as humanly possible to maximize that limited time they have. So when Krieger crashes the party in a go-kart due to the disrespect, the continued assumption he's the clone of Hitler as well when he looks nothing like him, they wind up in the man's foot, with Archer as their only hope, and that's how we ended part 1.
Houston, we have a problem.
In part 2, the team is updated on the situation where they need to come up with a game plan to figure out how they can still accomplish the goal. And because there is a Harvard alumni, graduated medical professional in the room, they don't need to check Google or Wikipedia to figure out the solution to the problem. Mallory continues to allude to AJ's normal baby weight as excessive, trying to accustom her to smoking the fat away and refusing to feed her upon request. And if you gonna keep doing this, I'm gonna need Archer and Lana to pick a different babysitter. I know there are not a lot that you would immediately trust, but we need to do something about the harassment she's gonna give this child a complex. And as someone who had a mother that definitely liked to pick apart one's normal weight, it's not healthy. Pam and Cheryl randomly knitting to stay out of the way. Shit or get off the pot. At the farm, it was a literal pot. I don't know what you want me to say to that. Was hysterical. It turns out Archer doesn't have a death wish. He simply doesn't believe that he can die.
Because you, my precious little bitch boy,
Stop it,
are
sir.
tripping balls.
Though he does seem to realize 10 G's is a lot to be pressed upon your body, since they're going to enter the bloodstream that's going to lead them up to where they need to be. Homegirl packs away her needles, which are tungsten, with Pam asking, wait a minute, should you even have those? I shouldn't even have yarn.
She's a maniac on the floor.
Slater takes the opportunity to drag Archer by pointing out to the slutty doctor that I wouldn't bark up that tree, since Archer has had the clap so many times it's more like an applause.
My nigga, you just got roasted. Yeah.
Just got her in easy and slow. Not even a that's what she said. Cyril tells Ray he should apologize to Lana after this is over about the racist remarks that he's been indicating to everyone regarding his arm, but he's more shameful about it being robotic than the fact that it's black, and decides at that exact moment that he should go and tell her instead of remaining strapped in.
I heard the snap.
Cheryl said, are you crippled again? Yep. Cheryl is definitely racist, correlating somehow Jesse Owens as a robot, and the Jetsons' maid, who was not black, but a blue robot, but because she was a maid, just considered her black. This leaves Cyril to steer the ship, and I don't, then y'all ain't had to do him like that. Everyone had the same response.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on, boy. You get your goddamn ugly ass on.
He said, I will crash this ship and kill everyone. It's not like I haven't been fantasizing about it. Mallory gonna get her ass whooped when Archer and Lana, at least that's what I wanted to happen, find out she's only trying to allow their child a cocktail onion. Lana goes to check on Ray, who is being dragged out by Pam and Cheryl. And he also is being dragged about his consistent state of brokenness, to the point even Archer thinks after this he might actually kill himself. His life isn't the only in danger, though, as due to Michael Gray's stalking, they have less oxygen than time to complete the surgery and get back to their normal size. So Pam and Cheryl, along with her sharp tungsten needles, decide to gawk at the unfolding drama on deck, leaving Ray by himself because he's crippled. They are then attacked by lookalikes that damage the laser. Is that bad? What do you think? That you better watch your tone?
Crazy motherfucker named Joe.
The way Ray called out Lana had me dying as he apologizes in her lap, thinking his newly crippled form is due to God's wrath because he kept complaining about, or due to his self-loathing regarding his robotic body. I don't know about God's wrath. Oh, but you will, Miss Unwed Mother.
Bitch, move! She move!
I do miss Lana and Ray's friendship. I think that's something that has been stepped away from, understandably, due to the unfolding relationship she's had with Archer. But yeah, I did like the fact that they were friends and that's someone she can talk to. Archer is chosen to go outside and Captain Ripley some shit to repair the laser and fend off the lookalikes, so BFF Pam is chosen over the tiny Michael Gray. But now they are down to 15 minutes instead of 30, since it takes Pam that long to get into a wetsuit because there's no talcum powder on board. Lookalikes, if they touch you, can cause the worst kind of death, which is why those tungsten needles probably would have made a handy weapon. It did come in the form, it was used in the form of a weapon, but not to any effect since Ray has bionic legs. Archer demurs about his mortality once again, pointing out how he has a laser backpack. But she's trying to warn him that you're not invincible. And now that you're a father, at some point you're going to have an existential crisis. And I think that may be a precursor to the next season. Holly ends up feeding AJ while Mallory bemoans the fact that AJ can win prize money if they are disavowed being a competitive eater.
Bitch, shut the fuck up!
Maybe the doctor should have been paying more attention to the synchronization of time, because she said they had enough of it, so much so that she tries to get Slater to have sex with her because A, it's the ultimate cuckold, fucking someone inside your lover, considering he's got a Hilda. And B, she feels the need to open her legs to any man in her proximity in a bid to be shocking when horrors being horrors is not. Plus, Michael Gray is staring right at them. Pam, it's blood. I'm pretty thirsty, but it's blood. And I'm still pretty thirsty. So the 8 minutes go by with both of them fighting or trying to prevent her from slurping up the blood. Despite their best efforts, though, the time they had left, they didn't make it in time, killing everyone in the room.
They're all dead!
With Archer replying, I guess we didn't make it. Well, not only are they blacklisted, Krieger's rampage has associated all of them with destroying the legacy of the greatest mind that ever lived, with Mallory having dedicated her entire life to the cause and left out in the cold with nothing more than AJ and an ulcer. They are literally left on the side of the road in Mexico City with Ray in a wheelbarrow dying of sepsis. And the group done with the CIA, who definitely, I agree, set them up to fail more than succeed. And they end up rallying not behind Mallory, who says, well, we'll just have to wait until she gets back in with them, but behind Archer, who doesn't want to go back and work for the CIA, doesn't want to go back into espionage, and has an idea on how they can continue getting paid. And that's where our season leaves off on. I gave our finale, the two-parter, a 9.1 out of 10. Some of the lines in this episode, like I said at the top of the podcast, are some of the funniest in the entire season. I thought that some of the doctor stuff didn't work for me, but for the most part, I really enjoyed it. It's probably top 2 of the finales that I've liked thus far. It's not like I've hated any of them. Just one of those two-parters, I guess is what I'm meaning to say. Now, we will be taking a mini hiatus because we are going to finish up Interview with the Vampire before we jump into season 7. Just because of other shows premiering in the meantime. But we will be jumping back into season 7. So definitely make sure to send any feedback to blackgirlcouch@gmail.com. My social media will be below for any and all notifications, recording schedule. Like, share, subscribe. Until the next time, peace, hair grease, and blacker magic.